All right, it is Friday, April 16th, and just getting back into the washroom here. So, sanded this down. This is looking really nice. It's pretty much ready for paint, but in a couple other areas, I'm still working on them. Primarily, this area right up here. So there was a really large gap and it didn't look very good. Looked like, it was going to cause some potential future issues. So what I've done is I filled it all in here and sanded it, cleaned it up. It's looking really nice. So what I'm going to do, I've got a couple other areas here that I'm still working on. But my intentions are to get a coat of paint on this, tape it off of course first, get a coat of paint on it, and then apply some bathroom water 100% waterproof silicone up in this area, just to ensure that there's not going to be any type of water issues, just because there's a high potential of that, being that, well, it's the shower bathroom area. So I want to make sure to protect this as best as I can. I seem to spend my time walking around looking for my tools. Now, where did I put that screwdriver? There it is. All right, so I have I put some silicone around the edges of the tub, just along these areas right here, on both sides. Looks so much better. It was never done, looked unfinished. I also put some just along that area as well. And I added some down in this area as well because it needed it. And up in this area, I've given it a bit of a sand. Looks so much better, that gap. Again, it just looked like it was unfinished. Looks much better. Still needs a little bit of work, but it's coming along. So while some of my other work dries and gets ready for the next stage, I'm going to have a look at this. I guess it's like a shelf bracket, and as you can see, the hanging rod sits on this, and it is cracked and broken. So the rod doesn't really, so it can't really be supported because it's busted. So I have a replacement that I'm going to put in place of the broken one. So I'll start working on removing the shelf and removing this bracket from the wall, getting ready to replace it. So the shelf is really only being held by these two screws right here. So I just got to take those off, and then the shelf should be able to just lift right out. Okay, so I got the old one out. Took a little bit of manhandling, but it worked. And there's the replacement, the new one. And all we got to do is just drop in these anchors, which I put the majority of them in here, but they still need to be kind of pounded in. And so this would just fit right in here, and of course would go all the way in. And then there's another little piece that goes inside the middle, and it just fits right inside here and then gets punched down. Once everything has been pushed in flat all the way, this one still needs to go in a little bit, but it doesn't take much. So in my case, I didn't have to drill any holes because all the holes were already drilled because there was already a bracket in there. So it kind of saved me the time of having to drill all the holes. So this is going to go pretty quick. And there we go. That literally took me less than a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So basically I just punched them all down, put that little centerpiece in there, gave them a couple taps with the hammer. Just got to make sure that you watch that you don't hit the plastic edges with your hammer, because obviously don't want to do that, otherwise you're going to be replacing it again. It's probably going to chip and break. That's the way things are made nowadays, plastic, but they generally hold up pretty good. So now it's just a matter of getting the shelf back on, test it out, see how it works. And there we have it a couple minutes later. Shelf is back in place, screws are back in, and we've got a functional closet shelf rod system here for hanging our clothes. So back in business. Okay, so I have noticed that there is another one that is broken, exactly the same issue, except the opposite bracket. And this is in the master bedroom walk-in closet. So I'm going to take the time to replace this one as well. And it's going to involve the removal of a few screws. So this little bracket that anchors the two shelves together, and then of course a couple screws here, a couple screws there, and we should be able to get access to that bracket. One long shelf. Maybe I don't have to take the entire thing out. Maybe if I could just leave it like this. Well, it's just a matter of popping these out. Sometimes they could be a little difficult. You need some persuasion. We'll go with that. I decided to remove this shelf here just to make things easier, and then what I'm gonna do is, now that I have the old one out, it's just a matter of putting the new one in and securing it with the hardware that it comes with. Very simple. I think it worked out perfectly. So now it's just a matter of getting our shelf back on here, and our rod. There we go. It's good. Solid. Yeah, like a rock. Alright, everything is back in place. Everything is lined up. And we now have a bracket that is not broken, which will last hopefully a very long time. There we go. Alright, bit of a short day today. Just to show you what I've completed. I put a coat of paint on this here because it's going to need a couple coats. So I figured I might as well get one on there before I actually start on the wall. And up in this area, I also masked it off, gave it a coat of paint as well. This is not the last thing I'm going to do. I do have a couple areas here that I want to fix up and sand, and then what I'm going to do is run some caulking around the edge here and then get that painted as well, so it's going to look much better. But I did give it one coat, an initial coat anyway, just for now. I removed the mirror because I kind of figured that it wasn't painted in behind. So this is the color that it used to be before it went to this darker mocha kind of color. And it's just something that drives me crazy, you know. I mean, how lazy can you be, right? Just take off the mirror. It only takes a few seconds and give it a coat of paint. Do it right. So, I mean, I will be giving it a coat of paint and doing it properly. There's no need to take shortcuts like this. I mean, I understand where shortcuts come in handy, right? But, I mean, come on. It only takes a couple minutes, right? Just take the mirror off, set it aside, get the work area ready, paint it, put the mirror back on. Common sense, right?